an Accessible Media Incorporated original production.
AMI Sharp Focus begins now. Sweet ride. Welcome to AMI Sharp Focus. I'm your host, DJ Demers, here at the Comedy Bar in Toronto. And today's episode is all about comedy, a subject very near and dear to my heart because I am a stand-up I'm a stand-up comedian. In today's episode, Kelly MacDonald chats with comedian Gord Painter in Oshawa, Ontario. Richard Lefebvre chats with another amazing comedian, Mike Simmons, in Gravelsburg, Saskatchewan, and Christy Cassie has a chat with another amazing comedian, Brad Williams, in New Westminster, BC. And Shermeen Khan follows around a group of Ottawa high school students trying to make the Canadian National Improv Games. Exciting stuff. As for me, I'll be hosting my own stand-up show here at Comedy Bar. So we'll take you inside that show for a little sneak peek. But first, I had the chance to interview a few of the comedians who will be performing on this year's Comic Vision tour. What is Comic Vision? Well, it's a comedy show that started in 1999, and in that short period of time has already raised over $3 million in groundbreaking vision research for the Foundation Fighting Blindness. Incredible. Take it away, DJ. Thank you very much, DJ. Man, that guy's a great host. We're hanging out here on Lake Ontario on a beautiful day with Dexter, beautiful golden retriever here, and more importantly, Meg Soper. How you doing, Meg?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thanks, DJ.
So Meg here is one of the founders of Comic Vision way back in 1999.
1999, that's right.
Can you give us a little bit of the story for how Comic Vision started?
I sure can. Well, my very good friend Ann Morrison, her son, who's the same age as my teenage son, at the time he was 8 years old, was diagnosed with retinitis pigmentosa, and we wanted to do something. So we thought of a comedy night to raise funds and awareness for Foundation Fighting Blindness, and we started off with our first comedy event, which was a huge success, and we haven't looked back since.
And then this year, how many shows are there this year on the Comic Vision tour?
It's a 5-city tour.
5-city tour?
Yeah.
That's huge.
It's amazing. And it starts off in London, Ontario, and then it's Oakville and Toronto, and then the following week we head off to Vancouver and Calgary.
Wow, that's great. And so you are a unique combination of talents and skills. You are a nurse, you're also a comedian, and you also do motivational speaking.
That's right.
How did that come about?
Well, I started doing stand-up comedy in mid-1980s when I was in nursing school, and I always combined the two, nursing and stand-up. And in about 2006, I transitioned from just doing stand-up to adding content, and so I was able to move into the corporate market and provide presentations that not only had people laughing, but left them feeling inspired about what they could do a little bit differently in their lives.
That's great. So you give them, it's not just the laughter, you're giving them, there's something to take away from it as well.
Yeah, so they go home with just some ideas about how they could maybe tweak how they communicate or life balance. I speak on that as well.
Okay.
Yeah, and how we deal with stress in our lives and how humor helps us shift our perspective to look at the lighter side.
I'd sit my two girls down, look them right in the eye, and say, "Find your brother." He said, "They don't have one, I just want to mess with their minds."
In addition to Meg Soper, this year's Comic Vision tour features some of the most accomplished comics in Canada, including Steve Patterson and Pete Zedlacker. I'm sitting here with Steve Patterson, the winner of the 2011 Canadian Comedy Award for Best Male Stand-Up. Why did you decide to get involved with Comic Vision?
It's, it's always good to be doing something for a good cause, and I think we've all gone to things where if the price of admission was, you didn't think it was worth the price of admission. I hope that they won't with this. I hope they'll think it's worth the price of admission because it's a great cause and there's great comedy as well. Whenever I go to like a Leafs game or something, I don't feel like it's worth the price of admission, and it's not going towards any charity. It's just going towards funding underachieving athletes. So it'll be nice to be part of something that's for a much greater good.
So you've been touring since 1997. What has been the most memorable gig of your career?
Well, for me, it was 2010. It was a gig with Steve Martin, and at Just for Laughs, a gig with Steve Martin. He was hosting it. There were several other comics. It wasn't Steve and Steve on the road together. But I wanted to do a really good set just